All right, guys. So look, full text history with Huffington Post Luke O'Brien. Couple notes real quick when you're looking at this. First of all, there's the link right on the left. Um, his first message to me on Google Voice was immediately after a stream with where me and DeFango were talking about OP Wolverines, who's now gone, by the way. He's not coming back. Well, he's already back as another name, but it's small and it's going to take a while to grow. But he texted me this right after a stream, so he was watching it. I'm curious why he was watching a stream with me and DeFango talking about OP Wolverines, but hey, we'll get to that later. Prior to this, I had talked to Luke on the internet, and one time after his Amy Mech story, and then also a little bit on Gab. You're going to see some strange things in here. First of all, sometimes with Google Voice, the replies, there's a little bit of a delay, so some of my replies might belong to the message before it. Anyways, just keep that in mind as you're going through it. He has, from the beginning, claimed that anyone who mentions his name is libeling him. He can't cite where this has been done. He's just guaranteeing that it's there, and that's his justification for doing whatever he's going to do. You will see discussions about Spicky, about Owen Lenahan, Progressive Dad. I will say this much. Everything that he has claimed about Lenahan, I have then talked to Lenahan and people around him since then, and I believe Luke to either have the wrong idea or outright lying. That is my opinion right now. And look, I wanted to give them both a fair shot. If Luke says Lenahan did this, then I'm going to ask around and look around and say, is there evidence that Lenahan did this or said this? So far, it's speculation on the part of Luke, and then it gets blown up within his circles to whatever they want it to be. It's as ridiculous as some of his followers who say certain things about me that are factually incorrect, just 100% incorrect. But it doesn't matter, because if they say it enough people in their groups just believe that that's the case. I think that's what we're dealing with here. You'll see how mad Luke gets, even just asking about public information where I've noticed a discrepancy. You'll also see Luke threaten to use journalism to put me in league with far-right extremists. And he says it again, don't libel me again. I've asked him time and time again where I've done that. He's never once cited it. But that is the excuse for doing whatever he wants. You'll see here, I'm going to show you how journalism works, man. Investigative reporting. It says, you've libeled me and appear to be in league with far-right extremists. Now, he knows I'm not in league with them. I've been pretty vocal about what my opinion are of both them and Antifa. I'd like for all of them to kill each other, to tell you the truth. And every conversation with him is vague and then gets emotional, because here he thinks that there's a need for trust just on public information. Look, people that published this, claimed it to be true. Later on, this information disappeared. No one will produce it. Why? And he thinks that's an issue of trust. He doesn't need to trust me. He's got to make him and his buddy's story solid, factually solid. Right now, everything that they say and do is so full of holes. It's just unbelievable. So you'll see him get very defensive over just asking questions. Now, he's even here, he'll say there's no public discrepancies when I've just showed him one. It's right in front of your face. Just denies it even exists. And then he could deny it and then say, now I'm going to use journalism against you, and here's what I'm going to do. It's amazing, to tell you the truth. I don't want to call him a journalist at all. I don't think there are many journalists left. I would be comfortable with the topic of some sort of commentator. There's got to be a new category for this, like investigative commentary. How about that? And then here I just show them that, look, here's from years ago, here's some info that was being pushed around by the Mensch gang, right? For some reason, it was also pushed around by Anon Khan. I have direct messages to prove it. And right at the same time, I mean, this is June and July, just a couple weeks apart, Luke is proactively trying to dismiss any claim against Mensch, which is weird. Remember, OP Wolverines was in with Mensch as well, and Prop or not. Anyways, I'm not going to make too long of a point on this. The entire texts are up for you to read and to decide. And if you have any questions, people can get at me. Through this, he starts trying to exploit the fact that Spicky and myself were no longer talking. He tries to use that to get me to give up information on him. I don't have any info on him, but what Luke doesn't understand is that when people are anonymous operators on the internet, I don't even want to know who they are. But there are some who I absolutely hate that I know who they are, but I wouldn't out them. The case with Spicky is I don't know anything about him, and that's for the better. But that's what Luke is going for. And Luke doesn't believe that I don't know anything about him. But it wouldn't matter because I wouldn't give it to him anyway. It's mostly out of concern for their safety, to be honest. It's probably the one reason why me or a couple other people around me haven't published the names of Eyes on the Right or OP Wolverines or Anti-Fash, because I'm legitimately concerned that some crazy Atomwaffen guy might do something. I believe me, it's not worth it. These are fights about words on screens, you know. Nobody's safety should be put at risk for that. But anyways, you'll see the stuff with the Spicky stuff. You'll see he then just jumps in and tells me that, you know, Lenahan liked this guy who was a notorious anti-Semite. I immediately went back. I asked a few people that were around back then. They said they didn't remember Lenahan having any sort of, you know, liking for this guy. And I went right to Lenahan. I said, hey, what's the deal? What do you know about this guy? You'll see it in here. It's DJD. I'm not going to say the whole username. And he just said, oh, yeah, I kind of remember them. Well, what do you know about him? Is he funny or not? He said, I don't know. Not my type of humor. You know? And I said, okay, well, someone, I didn't tell him it was Luke. I said, someone claimed that you were, you know, a huge fan of his, big supporter. He said, not at all. So again, but it doesn't matter because Luke has perceived it a certain way. It will be so. And if you push back on it or he's not right, then the threats come. And let's see, is there anything else that you guys need to know about this? Just going through quick here. Oh, he talks about Thomas Retzlaff. By the way, if you don't know, Thomas Retzlaff is he's a creep. You could see the court documents that have been filed against him. I think it's in his divorce from his wife, talking about what a deranged creep he is sexually. He is, as far as we could tell, he's the one who has posted his own daughter's nude photos multiple times. He says Retzlaff took down Van Dyke. First of all, Retzlaff and Van Dyke are both total scumbags. I wish both of them an identical fate. This is false, by the way. Retzlaff did not take Van Dyke down, and this shows that people like Luke don't do their homework. They don't care about what the facts are. Retzlaff lost to Van Dyke. He's appealing it. He then recently just requested an en banc hearing, which would require all of the judges to sit and hear the case. That was just denied. Now he wants to take his appeal to the Supreme Court, which they probably won't hear. Maybe they will. But as of right now, Van Dyke won against Retzlaff. And actually, it's in that case where you could see the affidavit from Retzlaff's own daughter, why she has to have a restraining order against him and why she lives in Peru. Let's see. Luke was a little worked up because I guess DeFango called him a verified swatter. And I was like, you know, DeFango talks about 100 things in a week, right? It's very easy when you're dealing with names and people and internet personalities to get things confused. I said I would talk to DeFango and let him know, you know, what was up. I would even bring it up live and say, oh, dude, you know, maybe I told you something wrong. You said this. You got to tell Luke that it's not the case. You got to do, and DeFango would have done it. But then somebody started calling DeFango's mom and claimed to be Luke. Luke denies it was him. Look, I don't know. I don't hear the phone call. Anyways, what else are we missing here? I told him about my issue with JB, which if you guys don't know about that, I'll make that video public again. And I think that's basically it. Damn. I know there's one other thing that I wanted to tell you guys. I wanted to do it as a live stream, but this is acting up. Oh, but you'll see at one point Luke comes back at me like he's trying to get statements out of me as if he's going to publish something. And at that point, I just tell him, just go ahead, Luke, do it. Do it. I need you to do whatever you claim you're about to do. I need you to do it so I can act. From what I know, this is factually true about Luke. Of course, I can't confirm it yet. Still checking around. Requiring the power glove to orgasm. And then he talks about getting into, he says he now has the original logs of the chat rooms with Progressive Dad, with Lenahan. And I say, great, you know, you still have to verify that they're valid. And he doesn't seem to really know how to do that. But that's okay. I mean, I even said, look, I'll tell you how to do it. I'll show you. I want to know more than anyone else if those logs that disappeared, whatever he has, I want to know if they're valid and if we could verify it. And by the way, I don't think if there was anything in there that made Lenahan look bad, they would have made sure to publish it. They were out to get him and ruin his life. Anyways, look, if Luke's got him, you know, put him up, verify it with a file hash, the original one, and we'll go from there. I think that's it. He accused me of having Microchip in my Discord. Me and Microchip have never been in the same Discord, ever. Unless he was in there under some alt that I didn't know, but sorry, dude. And Luke still doesn't understand shitposting. You'll see that too. Because he starts to ask me what I think, what my statement is going to be on what Microchip is saying. And it's just laughable. I think that's it. I think those are all the notes that you guys would need to understand the flow of this conversation that took place over a couple months. So there it is. The video is live. Link is right up on the screen. Have fun. Anybody has any questions? Hit me up. You know where to find me.